Hi, everybody. This is Heike from HorseWorldConnect, and today I'm speaking with Melody Semmler from Australia. We had a little bit of a conflict with the time change, but we finally figured it out. And it's actually morning, 7:30 in the morning, I believe, in Australia, right, Melody? And
That's right.
it's your summertime, right?
It is summer. I am in shorts with a t-shirt and the windows open.
And it's winter here. I've got my turtleneck on. It's freezing cold outside. I just turned my heater off. So it's so nice to meet you. And the first question that I have for you is about your background with horses. Can you tell us a little bit about horses in your life, how that journey started for you?
Sure. When I was 11, my neighbours were having riding lessons. There was 3 kids, two girls a year and 2 years younger than me, and a boy, and they were all going off and having riding lessons. And my mum was very ill when I was 11. So I went with them to have riding lessons, and I started to enjoy it, and they stopped going and I kept going, and somehow that turned in me getting a horse when I was 12, and it was the bane of my parents' existence for the rest of their lives, really. And it kind of went from there. So I think by the time I was 20, I had 7 horses. I've pared back to just 2 now. But yes, so since then I've just had horses in my life all the time. I've done all kinds of things with horses.
How did you transition from loving horses, starting riding horses, becoming an equestrian, and now you're a business owner for Equine Entrepreneurs? How did that start? Where did that idea evolve from?
Well, so 14 and a half years ago, I was working in a high-level corporate job in the biggest law firm in Australia as their graphic designer and communications manager. And I had, by that stage, 15 years of experience as a graphic designer in the print industry, and I had a degree in communication. So I fell pregnant, and in my pregnancy, and then when my son was very small, I started a small show brow band business, making show accessories for horses. And being the person that I am, I built that business up and up and up. And by the time I sold it 3 years ago, it was a 6-figure business. We'd won a Telstra award, which is quite a prestigious award in Australia for businesses.
Congratulations on that.
Yeah, thank you. And it had become the household name. So if people were going to buy a brow band and they'd post on social media, who do I get one from? They would always say Magic. So that was my business name. So I was very well known around Australia, and I sold internationally as well. So I started this business, Equine Entrepreneurs, 2 years before I sold Magic brow bands. And for 2 years, I ran 2 businesses, which was a terrible idea because I had no time and it was very stressful. But the transition is that all the way through my business in Magic brow bands, people would say to me, how have you become so successful? How have you turned a hobby into something so professional looking? And so I would start giving people free advice, and then it just grew from there. And I started to draw on my uni stuff, my communications, my graphic design stuff, and then it just became a transition from one to the other. And ultimately, when I sold Magic brow buns, I just threw myself straight into this and have done so for the last 3 years.
So what are the biggest pain points that people have when they look for you?
So most of them come to me. The 2 biggest pain points are, the first one is I'm not selling enough stuff. So I'm not getting enough orders, or I'm not getting enough clients. So that's people's main thing. Or then there's the other ones that have figured out how to sell everything, but they haven't figured out time management. So the second one is I have no time. So I'd say 90% of people are I can't sell enough stuff, or I can sell stuff but I can't make money. And then there is a minority who can sell anything hand over fist. Saddle fitters seem to always have that issue, that they've got too many clients and not enough time. And so with them, it's a matter of teaching them time management and boundaries and setting correct prices, grouping people together. But most people come to me and just say, I need more clients. I need to sell more stuff.
And when those people approach you, how is the process with your business as far as helping them with their challenge? Is there a step-by-step process? Do you offer them a free phone call to see where they're at and then go from there? Can you tell us a little bit about the process?
Yeah, sure. So most people start off by joining my Facebook group. I've got 780 odd entrepreneurs in that group, and I spend a lot of time in that group giving completely free value. So I'll do posts, I'll do live videos, I'll share a heap of stuff in there. That often gets the juices flowing and the ball rolling for them, for those that aren't ready to commit. I do free calls with people, so I'll chat to people for 20 minutes. And then the two programs that I run are, a 3-month group coaching, and then the alternative is a one-on-one coaching. So it kind of depends on where the person's at as to what they're ready for and what they need. But yeah, I often start with a free chat either on Messenger or on the phone, and then pretty much take it from there.
Mm-hmm. So just so that the people here in the States know, you coach people internationally, right? So if there's somebody in the equine business here in the States, because of Facebook now and Skype, and you and I are doing this via Zoom call, you can now do that internationally, correct?
Absolutely. And I have 3 out of 15 in my current group coaching are all from the States. And my last group coaching, I had a couple of ladies from New Zealand. So obviously some countries work better with the time difference, but one of the things that I do with my group coaching is, whilst I do live training in there, I do it inside a Facebook group for that very reason, so that if people are on a time zone that doesn't suit them, they can come back and watch and still get just as much value. Then they can, comment as though they were watching it live, and then I come back in and assist them. So it kind of doesn't matter where people are, but it's amazing how the internet and Facebook and all of that has given us this opportunity to be able to spread to, all around the world. Because I did start off saying, well, I can only help people in Australia. And then I went, wait a minute, I can actually help people in other places. And yeah, so 3 of my ladies in group coaching are from the US, which is just awesome.
Yes, it's amazing.
And all three different time zones on the US.
Yes. Yes, because we have those different time zones too.
I have to do a lot of adding up. So I've got people in Queensland and New South Wales, and they're both 2 different time zones, because one does daylight saving, one doesn't. And then 3 US time zones. So I was like 7 time zones to figure out.
Oh my goodness, I could just imagine you with different clocks on your wall, just trying to figure out everybody's name underneath each clock. So the next question that I have for you is much broader. Do you have a vision for horses and horse people? Just an overall vision.
An overall vision? Well, that's an interesting question. I think yes, that is a good one. I think what I'd like to see is people enjoying themselves. I think one thing that strikes me a lot, and I have been this person for so long and now have changed my circumstances with the horse that I'm riding, at the different horse, and doing a different thing, and I've changed this myself, is I just see people really not enjoying what they're doing but feeling like they're supposed to be doing it. So they're either feeling terrible fear or terrible pressure that they have to be out competing and they hate it, or that they have to be out cantering because everyone else is, or, going for bush rides on their own when they're gripped with fear. I'd really like to see everybody that has a horse, just do whatever it is that they enjoy for themselves. I think that's really
that. Yep, I really love that, and it really resonates with me too. If you don't enjoy what you're doing with your horse, or even if you don't enjoy what you're doing in life, you need to change it, because why do something that you don't love doing? On that same note, do you have 3 wishes for the horse world?
3 wishes for the horse world.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I've already used up 1 wish, haven't I? Hang on, I have to think of a new one. 3 wishes for the horse world, I think, is to take the pressure, particularly off children.
Yes.
Being in the show horse business and show horse industry, and I've done show horse for many years, it does frighten me sometimes to see how parents treat the littlies, and I'm talking the lead liners and the first riddens, that they're not allowed to play, they're not allowed to get dirty, they're not allowed to, look sideways, and they have to, it's just so much, it's all about the winning and not all about the fun. And I'm not saying that for every single one, but I've seen far too much of it. So just back the pressure off the kids and let them have a good time. And even to the, higher pony club stage, the 15 and 16-year-olds, you should be going for 1.5 meters, you should be going for 1.10 meters. Like, no, you shouldn't. You should be just going whatever height you are enjoying and have fun. So that's a long wish, isn't it? Sorry.
That's a big wish. Yeah, no, it's a wonderful wish. Yep, I'm glad that you said that.
I think another wish is that people actually spend time with the horses, not sitting on them. So I like to go and sit on a chair, and as I've recently been injured for quite a long time, it's something that I've had to do a lot of, because it's all I've been able to do, and just spending time with my horse, not in a rush. I'm not going to catch him to go somewhere, or catch him to tack up, or catch him to go round pen work him or anything. I'm just going to go hang with him and his paddock mate who's retired, and that's really nice. And I think it would be great if everybody could do that for themselves as well.
I was just thinking that, that undemanding time, how often do we just spend undemanding time with friends, family, horses, dogs, right? Just be there for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Without an agenda.
There. That's right. Just be there, just hang out, and just, do whatever feels right. If just sitting there for half an hour is what's right, then that's perfect.
Right. Yep. Absolutely. I love that.
Mm.
So going back to your business, we just, touched on a few things about your business, but I think everybody who's listening to this gets the idea what Equine Entrepreneurs is all about. What about what do you want horse people to remember, or the person who's listening to this podcast, what do you want them to remember about your business? What makes it unique from other coaches in the same field?
Sure. I think one of the things that I've always tried to be is very, very real and authentic. And so one of the things that I'm not making $1 million myself. I don't have a private jet and an indoor arena. So I'm not at that $1 million coach level. So I'm going to give you a blueprint, hand it to you, and off you go. I have been at everybody's level. I have felt overwhelmed. I have felt lack of confidence. I have felt that fear. I have given things up that I shouldn't have to work. So I've made every single damn mistake. And one of the things that I try to be is just real. I don't use fancy words for people. I don't intimidate, and I don't judge. So I come to people with an open, supportive environment, and I can totally identify with where people have been, and supportively help you get to the space that you need to be in.
Nice. Yep. And here is my last question. And I'm reading, I don't know, so if somebody is listening to the podcast and they can't see the video, on the wall behind you, it says dream, imagine, believe. So my last question was actually, what are some words of wisdom for the person that's listening to this podcast or this interview?
Yes, well, I mean, dream, imagine, believe, and you can do it is on another wall which you won't be able to see. So I've got motivational stuff all around me, and this room is filled with motivational stuff. But one of my most favourite statements or sayings to say to people, and I can reword it in 5 different ways, is if you, how does it go? If you want something to change, you need to change something. So that's all about, you know, if you're not comfortable where you are going to have to do something about it. So just magic. Can you hear those little birdies?
I can.
Like a little crew of bluebirds, little tiny blue wrens sitting at the fence trying to interject and tell me what I should be saying. I don't know if there's a message in that. Goodness me, noisy. And they're tiny, so they're actually on my fly screen of my window right next to me. That's why they're so.
That's so cool because, you know, it's like snowing in most parts of the US here. And so it's really nice to hear that bird.
And I'm being overrun with birds. So, yeah, I think the statement that's all about don't sit in that space, you know, move. You are not a tree. You don't have to stay where you are. All of those kinds of statements. It's all about getting people to take action and move to a space that they want to be.
Yeah, move forward. Excellent. Excellent. Well, Melody, this was a great interview, and thank you so much for taking the time. I know it's early over there. Thanks for connecting with me, and thank you for doing this interview with me.
You're very welcome.